Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the 49 Invincibles podcast, Arsenal and everything football. Thanks for being here. I hope you're all doing well. And welcome to the match build-up and opposition preview for the biggest game. I hate to lose this game. Arsenal against Manchester United at the Emirates Stadium. And I have special guest Zuhum will join us later, the regular. Obviously, Callum, how are you? The regular on the show, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. Just looking forward to the game tomorrow. Hopefully, biggest game, in my opinion, one of the biggest games. I don't know, the North London derby, so we gotta beat them, man.
Yeah, obviously. And then Graham, back on the show again. How are you? Obviously, Arsenal fans.
Yeah, I'm good. You alright? Everyone alright?
Yeah,
Fit and
absolutely.
healthy?
Yep. And then James and Henry, as I said before we started, I don't know why it's called Henry. He should be an Arsenal fan from the One United pod. How are you guys, James? How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks for having me on.
No problem, Henry.
Yeah, I'm all good. I'm all good, man.
Awesome, and I appreciate you guys coming on. So we'll be doing a preview for the game, looking forward to the game and everything. So I'll start with the United fans. Henry, how much are you looking forward to the game?
I'm more nervous than looking forward to it, I'd say, because this is a game where if we would have beaten Sheffield, it wouldn't matter as much. It's a must win, and the pressure's on. So we'll see what happens.
Awesome. How about you, James?
Yeah, I've just got to echo what Henry said. I was a lot more confident for the game 3 days ago, before we gave Sheffield United their second win of the season. So it all depends on what United turn up, whether I'll be confident or not. That first 5 minutes is going to be pretty big in determining how we play. So yeah, it could go either way.
Yeah, Graham, he's right. Like a week ago, we wouldn't have been confident going into this game.
I would. I'm not. I don't know. Man United have been scraping some results lately, so I've actually watched Man United. I like watching Rashford and players like that. So I actually do watch a few Man United games, and I don't think they're really that great. So I'm not really that worried. Even though they can turn it on the day, they can turn you over. They can beat anyone on the day. But yeah, I'm quietly confident. Quietly.
Okay. Callum?
I want to be confident, but you don't know in the league this season. Do you know what I mean? Everyone's turning over everyone. Do you know what I mean? It's just crazy. Do you know what I mean? We could batter Man United, or Man United could batter us. You know what I mean? It could go both ways. So I don't know.
Awesome. So the questions I always ask on every opposition preview. We'll start with the question first, James. So this season, what has been your favorite result or your best performance this season?
I mean, you'd usually say a big game, wouldn't you? But we've not had any good results against the big teams. So I'll say Southampton 3-2 because of the way we won it, being 2-0 down, winning it in the last minute. It sort of kick-started our good little spell that we had. So I'll go with that one.
Awesome. How about you, Henry?
I'm going to go for the Burnley away game because they're proving really difficult to beat at the moment. So I think that game was important in terms of physicality and seeing what else I can do under pressure. So, I'll go for that game.
Awesome. Zoom joins us. How are you? Another Arsenal fan?
Yes, I'm good. I hope you're all well. Sorry for a bit of tardiness on my end. Just glad to be here anyway, and lovely to have some Manchester United fans on as well. So excited to get this going.
Yeah, no problem. And then James, what has been your worst performance? Okay, before the Sheffield game, what was your worst performance?
There's quite a few that spring to mind. In the league, you've got obviously Spurs 6-1. That's just embarrassing all round. But I think I'd say the Palace one was maybe just as bad when we lost on the opening day 3-1. That was really horrendous. I think the Spurs one, you could somewhat forgive it because of the red card, but the Palace one, there's no excuse for it. We just did not turn up at all, and that was also just as embarrassing.
Okay, and Henry?
Oh, well, yeah, I'd say the Palace game as well. That was absolute agony to go through because we started a reasonable side and we got rolled over by a team that are notoriously bad away from home. So. That was concerning at the start of the season. Wasn't a good start at all, so I'll go with that one as well.
Okay, Zohom, how much are you looking forward to the game?
I'm really looking forward to the game. I think despite the shocking, I guess, defeat versus Sheffield United, I thought we were in a good way. Really focused on Arsenal and the strengths that they have going forward and defensively. And considering where United are right now, they've been grinding out a lot of results. Some games maybe they weren't convincing and probably didn't deserve some of the points that they earned on the board. So I think this is the right time, and at the same time, they're not playing the same Arsenal that they played back in November. This isn't going to be a 3-4-3 with a more defensive formation. We have a lot more creativity. We have a lot more movement. So I think we have a lot to trouble them with. And we're a lot more defensively solid than we were back then.
Yeah.
And in the run of games that we had after beating them 1-0 at Old Trafford. So yeah, I'm quite confident actually.
Okay, so Henry, we'll go into that game. Sorry for reminding you guys. So going into that game at Old Trafford, did you expect Arsenal to get a win?
Oh God. No. It's that game was rough. That game was really rough, and we did our usual sit back and allowed stuff to happen to us, which we seem to do against the top sides anyway. So yeah, we allowed it to happen, and it happened. And to be fair, not a lot of us were surprised after the game that it was a penalty that did us in the end, but it is what it is, and revenge should be coming, and if it doesn't, then we'll be even more annoyed.
Yeah, James, what disappointed you most about United's performance that day?
It was probably the fact that we'd just come off the back of beating PSG and Leipzig. I think that was the most disappointing thing. We'd put in such good performances there to get good results, and then we roll over to an Arsenal side that weren't in form at all, were they? I don't know if that was a week before or a week after. We'd just drawn to Chelsea as well, so there was clearly an issue going forward that we just weren't scoring goals at all after that point. So, yeah, definitely very disappointed. Hoping we can bounce back this week.
Okay, Callum, what impressed you most about Arsenal that day? Of course, Willian had a cracking game, by the way.
No, I think Partey in that midfield took Pogba out of the game. Had Pogba in his pocket that whole game, and I think he was a big factor in why we shut down that midfield. That's why they took off Fernandes a little bit earlier. I mean, I think they took him off about 70 minutes, 80 minutes around that time. They took him off because he wasn't doing nothing. Pogba stopped him. So, I mean, Partey stopped him. Do you know what I mean? So we have Partey in that midfield now. Hopefully he's fit and that. Geez, I think he will do the same. I think he'll get Pogba out of the game. Fernandes, he'll hopefully take him out of the game. You know what I mean? We'll be rolling that midfield.
Yeah, Graham, the one thing I'd say that day we did miss a lot of chances. What do we need to do different this time?
Just play our own game. Play our own game and take it to them. That's it. I just think I think we need to go down the right-hand side, because if Pogba plays on that left-hand side, Cavani up front and Rashford on the right, I think he won't track back, and then Fred will have to come across, and then I think that's where we can attack, or straight through the middle. Go straight through the middle. Once Fred comes out, you go through the middle at the two at the back. I don't think they're the greatest, Maguire and Lindelof. So I think their strongest positions are their fullbacks, Wan-Bissaka and Luke Shaw. So yeah, work it wide and then come in and go through the middle with Blacker and Smith Rowe. So
this game will be different because the likes of Willian and Elneny won't play. Last time out, we had them too. Smith Rowe had not even come to the first team yet. So Gabriel is also amazing. So are you expecting a similar game?
Who, me?
So
no, I don't expect a similar game at all, actually. I just want to add to... Excuse me?
Go ahead.
Hello?
We can hear you.
My bad. Yeah, I just want to add on to what G-Man said. I think we have a lot of options, and the likes of Emil Smith Rowe, Bukayo Saka, and possibly even Gabi Martinelli, they allow us to switch it up. We can attack from the middle, we can attack from the wings, and in 1v1 situations, we can be dangerous against some of their defenders. I know Aaron Wan-Bissaka is a fantastic 1v1 defender, but I think we also have a lot more energy now. We're going to press them differently. Emil Smith-Rowe does this thing where, as a number 10, he drops in and presses the holding midfielders of Manchester United, of not Manchester United, but hopefully Manchester United, but of opposition players. And it's almost like he takes the ball off them by surprise. Like, where does he come from? And he does help with that recovery and that intensity. And I think that's going to pose a lot of problems for Manchester United because he pops up in so many different positions. He's given that free role, but he's not necessarily a passer. He's more a combination player. He's a link-up player. And I think that's what's going to be very dangerous for Manchester United. But at the same time, we're gonna need Thomas Partey and Granit Xhaka to have excellent games versus Manchester United. We're gonna need them to lock down Bruno the same way they did at Old Trafford, and Pogba, and Fred and Scott McTominay if they choose to play them. And at the end of the day, we can't, in my opinion, afford to lose the ball, for example, in the way that Pepe does. Pepe loses the ball a lot while in possession because he's a high risk, high reward player. But if you give the ball to Gabby Martinelli, who's a lot more secure in possession, then you lower the risk of being counterattacked by one of the best counterattacking teams in the country, if not the best. So we can't afford to lose the ball carelessly and then have Rashford and them do what they did to Liverpool, for example. Amazing pass to Mason Greenwood, and they were in. We can't afford to get sucker punched like that. So yeah, I expected a different kind of performance, but despite the shock result they had over the week, during the week, it's still going to be a tough game. And at the end of the day, it is a derby, right? At least between, I think Roy Keane said it. I think Vieira would probably be consistent with that as well. He'd also suggest that it was a derby for them, and it's still a derby for them till today, at least for the players. So yeah, man, form goes out the window. So let's see how it goes.
So Henry, after losing that game to Sheffield, would you have liked to play another, let's say, okay, we're not doing that well anyway, another like relegation threatened team just to try and get those 3 points? Or would you have liked to play like a traditional top 6 team to get yourself some needed 3 points?
I guess my quickest answer would be a top side, because we seem to do better against the top sides. It's we can't play against the low block. We're not very good at that. Everyone knows that. Everyone can see that. It's hiding in plain sight the way that we play. But the top sides, Arsenal will keep possession, and I think that we'll just do what we normally do and nick it off in midfield and then counter attack. So the lower sides are more difficult for us to beat. I'm less confident about the games like Sheffield United and West Brom and whatever than I am about going into a game against City or Liverpool or Arsenal. So and it's a crazy way to be as a United fan, but that's the way it is at the moment.
Yeah, James, are you less confident after that Sheffield game?
Well, obviously, yeah. I'm not confident in how the squad will react, because that'll be the big thing. If they let their heads drop and we go into this game without any confidence, then we're in real trouble. But I think, going on like what you asked Henry on whether I'd prefer to play Arsenal or someone further down the league, I think as long as we're playing away from home, we'll be fine. We've got the best away record in Europe at the minute, and I think that'll be a big boost to us, because for whatever reason we just repeatedly pull it out of the bag when we're not at home. So I suppose whoever you're playing, as long as we're not at Old Trafford, that's the main thing.
Yeah, Graham, what makes you confident about this game? You said you're quietly confident. What makes you confident? Is it the home record against United? Is it because they lost to Sheffield?
No, yeah, I think the loss against Sheffield United might have dented some of their players' confidence, because they were flying before that, and you don't want to play a team that is full of confidence. Everyone's saying it's a bad time, because they lost, they're going to be up for it. They would have been up for it anyway. It's Arsenal, Man United. If you're not up for that game, you can't be up for any game. So if you put the shoe on the other foot, if we go into this game with a loss, we would be low on confidence. So that's why I am quietly confident, and we're playing well. So the only thing is Aubameyang's missing. So that's the only thing that might just go against us if it does. But they will be looking for that outlet in Rashford, Pogba, long ball, or not long ball, but the diagonal ball to Rashford, and we just got to close that down. So yeah, I think. Listen, the way we're playing, that's what makes me a bit confident. So, yeah.
Okay, so Callum, how do we mark out this guy? Because I hate to impress James and Henry in making them happy and stuff, but I think this is one of the best ever signings, like in terms of impact. Like this guy, whenever they have him on the bench, they literally don't score and they bring him in immediately, like against West Ham away, and the impact is there like immediate. How do we like try and carve him out of this game or mark him out of this game?
Well, like we did when we played, early in the season, we put Partey on him. Partey can handle Fernandes. Do you know what I mean? I could by himself. Yeah, I know he can. He's proved it. And if obviously he's had a string of games now, he's going to be even more fitter than he was back then. So I have every confidence that he will like throw him out of the game. Do you know what I mean? It's just if Xhaka will be up to scratch with Partey, you know, and won't be hinder his performance, you know, be next to him, you know what I mean? But I think that honestly, how as well as Xhaka and Partey are playing, I think they can have him. I think they can have him, seriously. I think it'll be very quiet in the game.
Okay, so Zohum, what
I
has
think we
impressed
have
you
to be
most?
careful about. I think we have to be careful about tackling them around the box, Fernandes. Don't be silly and start tackling them around the box seriously, because he will go
Fernandes,
over.
by the way. Yeah, so what has
He
impressed you
will
most
go
about
over.
United this season?
Honestly, it's the ability to grind out results. I think they've been doing that for quite a bit. They've been consistent whereas everybody else has dropped. So it's not a matter of being in some sort of maintenance mode where they just haven't dropped their levels ever since last season. It's clearly it's difficult for everybody else to do the same. So they've been grinding out results. In some games they've played well, in some others maybe not, but they have players that can be the difference in those big games. I mean, look at Pogba. When Bruno didn't step up, Pogba did a number of times. Burnley, he scored the equalizer versus West Ham. He scored a great left-footed goal versus Fulham. So they just have that quality that can switch on at any moment. I know we have that too, but I mean, it's scary to think, Rashford running 1v1 versus Rob Holding. Rob Holding, bless him, he's done well so far this season, but you want to make sure we do not allow them to isolate their forward players with any of our with any of our defenders. So there's Rashford. Greenwood got himself a goal versus Liverpool, a very good goal. I mean, one chance, one goal. So he was quite clinical with that. But at the same time, yeah, I think I'd go with that. But I'd also be wary of Fred. Fred, in my opinion, if Fred switches on his game and just becomes this disruptor, he can really he can really provide that foundation for United to attack. And I'd imagine he's quite useful in transition. He wins the ball back and sets them on a counter. I don't think he gets enough credit for that. He doesn't just win the ball back and then pass it backwards. He wins the ball back and sets them on a counter, and then it's effective. But obviously, that's more of the dirty work that not a lot of people would notice.
So we haven't really watched Fred in detail, but Henry and James have. So Henry, do you agree with that about Fred?
Yeah, no, I'd say so. He's so underrated, criminally underrated by other fans. You know, people see him as this flop that hasn't done so well, especially other fans. But you know, United fans can see the progress he's made this season. Especially, he's been fantastic. He's been probably one of our better players, and him and McTominay, they kind of have some security about them in midfield. So yeah, and he's progressive as well, which is something that's changed in his game. He's not a sideways passer, you know. He's not a crab. He doesn't just go left and right. He's kind of direct with his passes as well now, which is a massive improvement. So yeah, I'd say that's a spot on take on Fred. Yeah.
James, is he one of your best midfielders?
On his day, yeah. He just needs to get that consistency that he showed in the first half of the season. I think alongside McTominay, when he plays, we don't tend to concede because, you know, we play them in the big games where we tend to sit off and look to counter, and they offer a pretty stable base. They could just both really do with improving on their distribution. I get Fred's got Fred's very forward thinking and he doesn't like to go backwards. He likes to start counter attacks, but he often doesn't have the passing ability to make a big switch across the field and really get it going. So I think if he improved on that, he could be up there with sort of Fernandinho as being one of the best midfielders in the league. But I think there's just something missing at the minute. But take nothing away from him. He's having a very good season.
Okay, Callum, what has surprised you most this season? Is it the fact that United have been top of the table or the fact that you've been 15th on the table?
Well, both, really. Do you know what I mean? Man United haven't really been the force they've been since Ferguson left. Do you know what I mean? They've been top six, hereabouts. Do you know what I mean? Winning the odd Europa League and etc. And this has probably been our worst. Like first half of the season, probably been our worst stint. In a long time. And I don't think we've been that low in years. Do you know what I mean? So you could say, but we're both bouncing back. Do you know what I mean? Both teams. Obviously, Man United had that little loss the other day, but do you know what I mean? Both teams are bouncing back, and both teams hopefully it'll be a good game tomorrow. Do you know what I mean? And we're both quite in 4 minutes, so let's go, man.
Henry, if someone told you would be top of the table in January, would you have believed them?
No, I'd have laughed at them because it's completely unrealistic. Last year, if someone had told me that, or even at the start of the season, someone had told me that, I'd have laughed them out of the room. So, absolutely not. But as I said before, we're just enjoying it while we can. It's happening, so we've just got to enjoy the ride and see what happens.
James, same question.
Yeah, I'll say the same as Henry. The start of the season that we had were so bad. If someone would have said in January, even if they'd have said you'd be second, I'd have bit the hand off. I didn't even expect to be near the top four the way we started this season. But something's clicked into gear, and I'm pretty happily surprised about that.
Okay, Graham, same question I asked Callum. Which one has surprised you most, United's form or Arsenal's form?
Arsenal's form. Just never been that
Where did
low.
you expect us to be? Where did you expect us to be in January?
In January, I'd say about... Because I thought it was going to be an up and down season. I actually said it before the season started. So I actually said we could be up in around the Champions League spots with the signings we made. But I didn't expect Partey to be out for so long and Aubameyang not to score and things like that. So yeah, Arsenal definitely surprised me. Man United had a great end to the season last season. They went on a crazy run and got in the top four. So people was expecting them to be up there at the start of the season, but they just started off so badly. So yeah, Arsenal definitely surprised me.
Arsenal and United.
I just want to say, and I maintain my opinion, I genuinely believed that the only piece that was missing from Man United's puzzle was Jadon Sancho. They were fantastic defensively last season, and they're not that much worse this season. They've already conceded 27. They only conceded, I think, a total of 36 last season. But I think in the big games, they would have used someone like Jadon Sancho to great effect, and he would have made the difference for them. And you consider maybe the 0-0 versus Manchester United versus Chelsea at Old Trafford when that team was so defensive. So I don't think I'm that surprised by that. I think I'm more surprised with Arsenal's sudden turn of form because I didn't expect it. I didn't expect us to be able to get 16 out of 18 possible points over the last few weeks. I didn't expect us to be able to beat Chelsea as convincingly as we did, or Southampton. Southampton was supposed to be the beginning of the tough run that's coming up for us until the end of Feb. So I think the most surprising thing is Arsenal. I think that's because of the elements that are part of the Arsenal remontada or resurgence. Emil Smith-Rowe, I didn't think he'd come in and blow the Premier League away the way he did. Bukayo Saka has kind of just stepped it up a little bit. And Thomas Partey, fantastic. But at the end of the day, I'm also very, very disappointed because and don't laugh, you Manchester United fans, Henry and James, but I didn't expect us I thought we'd make top 4, to be honest, comfortably. I said don't laugh. So yeah, I said don't laugh, Henry. So yeah, I think a bit more Arsenal than the Manchester United, but you know, like I said, I just rate Manchester United's forward players so highly. They're so fluid and they're so talented, and they win penalties because of how dangerous they are. For example, we don't win that many penalties because Aubameyang isn't as tricky as Rashford or Martial or Bruno, and we don't have that link-up play. But things are changing now, so yeah.
I mean, yeah, I can't blame Henry. I have to laugh too because after we won that FA Cup and Aubameyang dropped that trophy, Arteta actually said in his press conference that day that he needs to get used to lifting trophies because you're going to win more. And I was like, here we go, Europa League, Premier League next season, we're going to win all the trophies, and then in November we are 15th in the table. So yeah, you have to laugh because of the way expected match from Willian. Anyway, I'll come to you, Henry. There's a question in the chat. What's happening to Greenwood?
Oh, good question. To be fair, he fell off a little bit at the start of the season. He had all kinds of personal issues, so I can't knock him for that because that does happen to players. You know, I think people forget they're just human beings at the end of the day. So stuff happens to them that would happen to all of us. But he sort of picked it up a little bit over the last few weeks and started to look like his old self again. So yeah, I'm quietly confident about him now because he seems to be getting back to his usual kind of tricky self and taking players on and looking to beat a man instead of cutting back inside every time. So yeah, it was a bit weird at the start of the season, but now he's starting to get back to his usual form. So yeah, I'm confident about him now.
James Greenwood?
Yeah, just what Henry said. You know, the thing in Iceland didn't help where he was caught breaking lockdown, but you know the media treatment afterwards didn't help either. The fact that they let Phil Foden get off scot-free and then they targeted everything Mason Greenwood did from that point. Obviously, at 19 years old, that's not going to be easy to deal with at all, is it? So I think that had a big impact. Obviously, one of his best friends committed suicide as well. That didn't do him any favors either. So I think mentally he's just getting back to where he used to be. Obviously, it's going to be a long road, but he's just chipping away slowly, and he is getting there. He's not quite at the levels of last season, but I've got all the confidence that he will be.
Callum, which Arsenal player do you think will be the difference in this game?
I think Saka, you know, because I think Saka, he's been so good lately. He's I think he's the first Arsenal player since Ashley Cole to score in 2 consecutive games. An English player got 2 games in a row. So I honestly think he's gonna fly in this game. He's gonna come into his own, and I think he'll get a goal and a few assists, hopefully. But I honestly think Saka.
I think Lacazette could be the player, man. Saka and Laka carry on the form. But I have to say one thing. I hope Greenwood don't start because he does scare me. He is a top talent. And I feel sorry for him this year because what the media done to him was a disgrace. That boy, we should be looking after him, man. He is. I just hope he don't start. That's why I'm quietly confident. If he don't start him, then I think we can go on and win the game. If they start him, then we could be in trouble.
Yeah, I love the fact that there's a time I didn't know whether he was left-footed or right-footed because the power on those shots are nearly the same. So, Zoom, Graham says Laka and Saka. How about you, Shaka?
I agree. No, hey, calm down, okay? No, I agree with Callum and Graham as well. Those two will be important. Laka will be important because of his hold-up play. He needs to have one of those games where he's actually holding the ball up rather than just backing up into his opposition defenders. But I think more importantly is Thomas Partey's performance. You remember what Zidane said about Luka Modric and Toni Kroos? And I'm not drawing direct comparisons. Nobody get annoyed. But he mentioned that they add this tranquility to the midfield. Everything's calmer when they play. I think Thomas Partey, to a lesser extent, does the same thing for us.
Yeah.
Xhaka looks better. El Neni looks better. Saka, Emil Smith-Rowe, they all look better when they're playing with Thomas Partey because he is that calm and composed in possession. And when we lose the ball, we know we have a player who has the athleticism and the physicality and the right aggression to help us win the ball back and defend dangerous situations. Compare that to, for example, if you're being by Manchester United and you have a midfield of El Neni or Xhaka or Dani Ceballos to Xhaka, do you really feel confident that we'd win the ball back? Unlikely.
No way.
With Thomas
No
Partey,
way.
I think he just adds that solidity. Exactly. Thomas Partey just adds that solidity, and I think he adds that tranquility in possession as well. And he's going to be really useful in transition because of his passes. I mean, we saw Aubameyang. He helped Aubameyang rediscover his goal-scoring form versus Newcastle. Broke away from a bit of pressure, and with a really nice deft pass to Aubameyang, he set him through. So we're going to need more of that against Manchester United because they're relentless and they press well for the most part. Yeah, we're going to need him more. We're going to need those attributes a lot more, in my opinion.
Yeah, Henry, which position will you be using most? Are you dependent on Shaw in this game? Are you dependent on Fernandes or Wan-Bissaka on the right?
I think that left-hand side for us is so important. Luke Shaw has become a massive part of everything we do this season. Massively underrated by people in the league because he's been fantastic ever since Tellez came in. He's upped his game and looked a different player. So I say that left-hand side for us. If Rashford turns it on, which he hasn't recently, so I haven't got many high hopes for him at the moment. But if those two can combine together, then we've got a real threat. And Bellerin, if he's starting, or whoever's starting a right back, will be in trouble. So yeah, that left hand side for us is important.
Yeah, I can tell you for sure Callum doesn't want Bellerin to start. James, how about you? Which position do you think is the most important for you?
Hang on,
James?
I think my audio's gone. Hang on.
Okay, no problem. We'll get back to you. So let's. I wanted Zoom. I wanted to ask you about. So they've just lost to Sheffield, and they've just gone on 5 wins out of 6. If this game was played 2 months ago, do you think the result would have been?
Oh, that's an interesting question. 2 months ago. 2 months ago would be when?
Yeah, when we were losing game after game.
End of November?
Yeah,
end of November. I think. Yeah, I think they'd have fun with us. Mostly because we wouldn't play with the same players. We'd be playing with Pepe, Willian, Aubameyang. No real number 10. Lacazette would probably be number 10. Weird. Yeah. And we'd be missing Thomas Partey, and we'd be in a midfield with Dani Ceballos and Xhaka, and we all knew those kind of players. It wasn't going to be sustainable for too long. Yeah, I think we'd lose that game comfortably. I think Manchester United would have every right to be. I think confident, but also cocky with how confident they are. I mean, they'd be ripping us to shreds. Possibly something close to that 8-2, in my opinion, because we were so low on confidence going forward and defensively. So it would be so bad, man. Why would you do that to me? Why would you ask me such a horrible question?
Because I had to get a question out because James kind of hung, so I had to throw in a question there. James, are you good now?
No, don't do that to me. Don't do that to me. I'm hurt, bro.
Are you good now, James?
Yeah. I'm back.
The question I'd asked just totally vanished. So yeah, which position will be the most important for you?
I think Henry spoke about the left-hand side, didn't he? I think that's going to be very important. But I think Pogba's going to be very important because I think Arsenal are going to do all they can to knock Fernandes out of the game, which will give Pogba a lot of space, which, rightfully so, you should be focused on Fernandes. But, if Pogba turns up and stamps his authority on the game, then he alone could win us this game. I think on his day, he's the best player on that pitch. Might not agree with me, but in my opinion. But, we've seen time and time again he can go missing. So it all just depends which Pogba turns up.
Okay, before we get into the lineups and stuff, so I'll start with you, Henry. Just one game era. So that's since 2006. The 14 games that have been played at the Emirates, which has been your best memory so far?
Jesse Lingard's little dance floor when he was Millie rocking in the corner, and I know that's given a lot of Arsenal fans PTSD after that moment. So, I mean, it's that was absolutely fabulous. I mean, I was going to say in terms of
Right?
if it wasn't Premier League, I was going to go for maybe Alexis Sanchez scoring against you lot at the Emirates, but yeah, some fantastic memories with Lingard in that side and Lukaku as well. So, yeah. Ruthless.
Oh,
Yeah, I hated
God.
that. I absolutely hated that until today.
Get that off the screen.
I think since today, until today, like I still have nightmares, as Andrea said. Like until today, even he's going to West Ham, wherever he is. So, James, what about you? Best game at the Emirates for you?
I think the score was like 3-0 or 3-1. I think it was like 2010 season when we scored that incredible counter-attacking goal, which Rooney finished off, and Nani scored that little dink from a really tight angle as well. That was a brilliant game to watch. I really enjoyed that, and that sort of set us on our way to a title race that year, because we hadn't really been at it, and that just sort of gave us confidence to go and challenge Chelsea for it.
I remember that very well. It was before halftime as well, and this guy Park Ji-san also scored in the second half. I remember that day very, very well, because that day we used to play very well, and then in the 42nd minutes or something, we're looking like we're gonna score a goal, and then United always scored against us right before halftime. Very, very painful. Let's go to the Arsenal fans now. Callum, what's your best memory?
My best memory is when I think it was when we had Sanchez, Ozil, Santi, Ramsey. We beat them 3-0 at the Emirates. And I think it was Sanchez. He did a little flick. He scored a banger as well. He scored a banger.
I got you. That's the one.
That's the one. Yeah, I remember that. So because I was in awe. You know, the goal, Sanchez second goal was unreal, and the way we pulled you apart that game was. We should have more goals, to be honest with you. Ramsey should have scored that game as well, and it was just amazing.
I thought we were gonna revenge that 8-2 or something that day, because we were 3-0 ahead with the first 15 minutes, but it didn't really turn out that way. Graham, best memory?
Yeah, I think the same game, but Cazorla's performance, the way he dragged Schweinsteiger out of position and just destroyed him that day, just created spaces everywhere for us that day. He was magnificent, and that's it. And Pepe last year when he put Shaw on his bum.
Oh yeah.
Zaho?
Yeah, that was a good mention by Graham. The 2-0. I think I get a lot of stick here in Kenya. Some of the most annoying United fans. I think probably the most annoying United fans that I've been exposed to are Kenyan United fans, and they just have this thing for Arteta. And they just love comparing him to OGS, and we all just want our manager to be the better option compared to the oppositions. But the 2-0 is a good one, but I think it has to be that 3-0. The way we blitzed them, it was just like goals after goals and chance after chance. And Mesut Ozil was at the heart of things. Theo Walcott got on the scoreline with a very good goal as well. It has to be that one. The Pepe one, putting Shaw on his backside a number of times. Him getting a goal after all the banter he received from Manchester United fans as well, at least here locally in Kenya. Yeah, that was fun. That was a lot of fun, but it has to be that 3-0, man.
I'm surprised you guys all went for recent games, because my two will be the first one at the Emirates Stadium where Henry and Van Persie scored in the last 10 minutes when we beat them 2-1, comeback win. That day was absolutely brilliant. And then the second one I don't have a picture of, but it was William Gallas equalizing in the 94th minute or something. The ball didn't even really cross the line. I don't think they didn't have VR that day or anything like that, goal line technology. But those two, very, very good. So since you started supporting United and supporting Arsenal, Henry, what's your worst ever memory of this fixture?
You know what? I'm going to go for early January last year, and purely because we were in a really bad state then. And the one thing you want to do when you're in a really, really big mess is go to the Emirates and get a result, get some sort of result, a draw, just to shut the Arsenal fans up. and we just got rolled over. So that it's always pretty painful losing there, but that was bad because we were in a moment where obviously before the whole COVID thing hit as well, we were just awful, and that just compounded the misery for me. So I'll go the January game.
James?
I think I'll go with the 3-0 that the others were mentioning earlier. I think that the way we played made it the worst. But even as young as I was when that was taking place, I just sat back and admired the football that you guys were playing. It was incredible. You just absolutely played us off the park, and you went the 3-0 up after 20 minutes and then just didn't stop. You could have easily won that game 5 or 6. I think it was only for some good saves from De Gea that you didn't. So, yeah, I mean, I had to give you credit for that, and I sat back and enjoyed watching you play. But it was so horrible to watch United crumble like that.
Yeah, Callum, worst memory.
I'll say when Van Persie came back to the Emirates and he scored. For me, I hate I hate Van Persie especially for what he said. When he left, and when he came back and he scored, just
painful.
Painful. Like it stabbed me in the heart. Do you know what I mean? One of them ones. So I'll say that one.
Yeah, I think I'll echo that. Graham?
Is it only at the Emirates, not at Highbury?
No. Worst memory since you started supporting Arsenal.
Oh wow! Against Man United, 8-2. I think there was the one when Roy Keane and Vieira had the argument, and I was so confident going into that game, and then Ronaldo scored 2. I think it was. I didn't like that one. And one where Roy Keane come to our ground and scored 2 as well. Of all players, Roy Keane. Nah. There's been loads of cross.
Yeah. There was a cross and Cristiano was all by himself at the far post.
What was Almunia doing in that game, man? Almunia was all over the place.
Almunia doing Almunia things. What do you expect?
6-1 when we had Stefanos and that Old Trafford. No way. Awful.
Jesus Christ. Graham is just bringing one after the other. Calm down, man. You're ruining my night. You're ruining my... Just one.
You always remember the bad ones. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. The good ones, you sort of, they fade, but the bad ones always leave a scar there, man.
Yeah. So?
I just need to confirm something. The game where Jesse Lingard decided to dance at the Emirates, is that the game we lost 3-1?
Yeah, that's the one that we had 35 shots and didn't score. We scored 1.
Yeah, that's the one that was extremely annoying because these men were dancing on our pitch and we played all the football that night. David De Gea is the one who should have danced, not Jesse Lingard. Mm-hmm. Jesse Lingard should have sat down and watched because David De Gea did everything that season. I think that was peak David De Gea. That was like when David De Gea was like 91 overall on FIFA. Honestly, that was the most annoying performance because the amount of feces that these men talked, and we deserved we deserved to win that game, and you can tell I'm still so pissed off about it. It's ridiculous. We missed chance after chance after chance, and they just went on one counter, bang. We go and miss chance after chance again, another counter, bang. It was so frustrating.
So bad.
There was another game that really pissed me off, and I think this is just a notable mention. There was a game at the Emirates where we put in a cross, and I think Nemanja Vidic blocked the cross with his hand. It was about to go to one of our strikers to head it in. I think it should have been an easy chance. But the amount of decisions that these men get away with, and these guys still try and convince me there's no conspiracy against Arsenal versus Manchester United, liars. Absolute liars. Anyway, I'm just taking the piss. It's just a joke. But it has to be the Jesse Lingard one, man, because that was just disrespectful. 8-2 is one thing, you know. Them beating us on the counter and whatnot, that's another thing. They can score goals and whatnot, but then to dance on the pitch and disrespect the opponents like that, not having none of that. I hope. I only wish Aubameyang, when we beat them at Old Trafford, I only wish we had fans in the stadium, because that would have definitely added a bit of gloss over Aubameyang's dance. But yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so I can't blame Graham for mentioning all those games. I have 5 more games that you guys didn't mention. Let me just go quickly through them. There's a time we took the lead and Danny Welbeck scored in the 84th minute. I don't know if they took the title that season, but they beat us 2-1. Then there's a season where we were like, you know what? This is the season we're going to win at Old Trafford. Absolutely, this is the season. We don't have this one, they don't have this one, they don't have this one. I don't know how old Rashford was, James, but he scored twice. He scored twice. I think it was like 16 or 17. That was also very, very painful. And then I'll echo what Callum said. The same game, but it was not the goal. It was this. You guys will remember that. That was very painful.
Oh,
that
I didn't want to talk about that.
Very painful. That is my worst memory in this
Get
fixture.
That was jokes.
Get it off.
That was jokes.
That was painful. And I think those are the top 3. Those ones were very, very painful.
Listen.
So, yeah, a lot of... Yep, go ahead.
Glenn, my best memory, sorry, I thought it was just at the Emirates. My best memory's got to be Wiltord.
Yeah, it was at the Emirates. I'm talking about the
when we
Emirates.
won the league. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know there's a lot of good fixtures and very, very good memories in of this game. So just quickly, the next 10 minutes, I want to go through the combined 11. I'll start with you, Henry, goalkeeper, Leno, De Gea, Henderson, Ryan. Who would you go for?
Well, I wouldn't go for Matt Ryan because he was awful at Brighton. No, I go for De Gea. You know, I know he's made the odd mistake, but I still trust him. You know, still trust him to save my life if if it comes to it. So yeah, I'd still go with him. I still have to.
James?
I've got to go with De Gea because I support Man United, but I think that's no disservice to how good Leno is. I think he's last season alongside Aubameyang, he was your best player. He was incredible, and I think when he's at his best, he's one of the best keepers in the league. Obviously barring Alisson and players like that. So I think he's really important for you lot, and I think he deserves a lot of credit. But I've got to go with De Gea.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Chris. It will come back to the predictions, but I appreciate the super chat. And Zuhum, what about you?
I have to go for Leno. I mean, David De Gea. I speak to a United fan called Nathan. He's a goalkeeping coach as well, and he just talks about the deterioration of David De Gea. It's a bit sad to see. And despite him, being a bit poor versus Sheffield, it's not necessarily just the Sheffield thing, It's been going on, I think, for the last 2 seasons. Manchester United fans have been asking questions of him. I mean, we remember the Tottenham game, for example, how he just doesn't necessarily react in the same way that he did when he initially came to Manchester United. But also Leno. I mean, Leno has been so good. I mean, I think he can push Ter Stegen for a spot in the German national team, and when Neuer retires. But yeah, I think I have to go with Leno. I think he's also better with his feet, despite the odd mispass here and there. I think he's still a lot better. And if I was to choose a team, I'd like it to play out from the back a lot more comfortably. So I'd go with Leno. Yeah,
he's better at kicking, but in terms of saving with the feet, I think James and Henry will agree. I think De Gea is the best. Like saving with his feet, you think is the best. So I'm sorry, G-Man and Callum, I want to ask you about that, but I'll go to the right back for you guys. G-Man, Bellerin, Cedric, or Wan-Bissaka?
Yeah, you go, Greg.
Listen, Wan-Bissaka is the best defender, but he's terrible on the ball. He's a lot. Nah. It's got to be Wan-Bissaka, isn't it? He's better than Bellerin, but Cedric we ain't seen enough of. The 2 games he's had, he's played very well. So, but it's got to be Wan-Bissaka.
Wan-Bissaka, Carl?
Yeah, I think it has to be Wan-Bissaka as well because, he's one of the best defenders. When he's one-on-one with an attacker, he's one of the best. I heard a Man United fan called Spider-Man or something like that. Because it looks like he has 8 legs. He's everywhere. Do you know what I mean?
They call him the spider in training, yeah.
Yeah, so he's got to be there. He's got to be right back for me, I think.
This guy came from nowhere at Crystal Palace. We didn't even know him. I just saw him on Fantasy Premier League and I was like, who is this guy? But yeah, since they bought him, 50 million within one season, that was crazy. So, Zoom, I'll give you Tierney, Shaw, or Telles.
Not even a conversation, bro. I'm going for the Scottish man. Lazima. I mean, sorry, not Lazima. Lazima is like I must in Swahili. Sorry, that just bit of Kenyan came out. I just have to go for Kieran Tierney. I think they're jealous. I'm not gonna lie. I think I think United fans, Chelsea fans, Spurs fans. I think they're jealous of how good Kieran Tierney is on his day. He's fantastic. He's strong. He's fast. I think he's a lot faster than the both of them, and he's so traditional. All he's ever gonna do is he's gonna drop a shoulder and go outside you and whip a ball in. That's all he's gonna do. But he's so effective at it. Shaw, in as much as he's been so good for Manchester United. I don't really want to discuss Tejas yet. I think it's genuinely between Tierney and Shaw. I think Shaw has been so good. He's really improved. A friend of mine who's is a United fan thinks he's lost a bit of weight, so that's helped. I'm like, yeah, maybe, but at the same time, going forward, he's really helped. For example, in improving Rashford's form. That link up between them has been really good. But when it comes to an individual player, I just have to choose KT, man, Kieran Tierney, Tesco in that.
Let's see if Henry agrees or disagrees. I'll give you that. I thought Tellers was coming to replace Shaw. What happened?
Oh God, that's just a weird situation for all of us United fans. We all thought the same thing as well, but Tellers hasn't quite adapted defensively to the Premier League, and to be fair, I can't blame him. It takes a lot to go from playing in the Portuguese league, especially defensively, to adapt to the physicality and the pace of the game. So, but you know what, Luke Shaw stepped up, and I'm not complaining. We've got two quality left backs going at it, trying to cement that spot, and it's fantastic to watch.
James, do you agree with Tierney?
Oh yeah, Tierney every day of the week. I think there's only really Robertson, maybe Digne that's close to competing with Tierney. I think Robertson's probably better, but then you go Tierney, second best in the league. I think I can't argue with that.
That was easy. Callum, defensive midfield, we have Partey, Ceballos, Xhaka, we have Matic, you have Fred, you have Pogba, McTominay, so many names. Which two would you pick?
Partey has to be Partey in there. Do you know what I mean? Partey and Pogba. Two big brutes in the midfield, man. Do you know what I mean?
That was
destroying
easy.
everything. That was the easy one. So Partey and Pogba.
Okay,
PP.
Okay, that was easy. Because I had Zoom and Henry talking a lot about the other guy, Fred. So Zoom, which two would you pick? Are you putting Fred there?
Yo, I was just waiting for you to call my name. Imagine an actual midfield of Thomas Partey and Paul Pogba. Wow. Because we all know about the reductive stereotypes that are there for African midfielders. We all know about them. There's no real need to expand on them. But both of them are such accomplished footballers technically, and in terms of their intelligence, so good. When you mix that up with their physicality and their aggression, I don't see a midfield anywhere in the world that can dominate a midfield of Paul Pogba and Thomas Partey. Both of them so good in transition. Both of them so good in terms of being press resistant and their range of passing as well. I mean, my days. And defensively as well. It has to be Thomas Partey and Paul Pogba. That's my midfield.
So, Henry, would you agree? Would you let Pogba swap that shirt with Partey, or would you, who's behind him? Bellerin? Would you let Bellerin give Pogba that shirt and then they become both Arsenal players? Would you allow that for 50 million?
Wow.
Pogba is, for me, I've backed him all the way when he's been playing for United, even when he's been playing poorly. He is one of the best players on the planet. I think everyone knows that and everyone can see that. I saw something yesterday on Twitter, actually, which made me... I looked at it and I thought, wow, this is just fantastic. Imagine a midfield of Pogba, Ndombele and Partey. That would just be the complete three in midfield. So, but yeah, I'd have to go with Pogba and Partey. Fred's not on the same level as those two. He's a good player and he complements us, but those two, any day of the week.
James, every single season I hear Pogba is about to leave, and then just when he's about to leave, he scores a couple of goals, and all of a sudden everything is okay. And then after 2 months, his agent is saying this and that, and then he starts playing okay again. Are you surprised that he's still at United? Do you expect him to be there next season?
Yeah, if it wasn't for COVID, he'd have gone in the summer. I think he's if a team can get enough money together this summer, he's out the door. But we're just making the most of him while he's still here. He's playing well. We can't have any complaints.
So you agree with Pogba and Partey?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so Graham, is Sabias that bad? Because no one has mentioned Sabias. Is he that bad?
No, Sabias is a good player. He's a talented player. He's not quick enough. You can't go against Pogba and Partey. It's as simple as that. That's frightening. That is. Just like Omar said, that the technical ability of both of them players, the passing range, the skill, the strength, that's ridiculous, man.
Yeah, I thought Partey and Pogba were so good I even skipped the centre backs. So let's go with you, Callum. We have Gabriel, we have Holding, we have Luiz, we have Maguire, Lindelof, Bailly, we have Tuanzebe. Which two would you pick?
I think it's got to be Maguire and Gabriel, maybe. Maguire and Gabriel, I think. Holding's been playing well, but I think Maguire's better than him, And I don't rate Maguire too highly myself, but I honestly think he's better than Holding. And Holding's had a good season, so obviously, so it has to be Maguire and Gabriel.
So Henry, I always hear you guys complaining and suggesting that he needs a quick out defender next to him, Maguire. So from that list, which one would you pick?
Yeah, I mean, it has to be Maguire and Gabriel. I think Bailly's too injury prone and goes into challenges that you think, what the hell are you doing? Sometimes you just halfway line, he'll just 2-foot someone or do something stupid. So, I don't trust him particularly, but I mean, Gabriel would be a complementary player to go next to him, a bit of pace and still a bit of strength as well. But Maguire's been fantastic this season.
James, any different shots?
No, I can't disagree with that. I think Gabriel's been a brilliant signing. He's just, he's been unfortunate with injuries and whatnot. But yeah, I think he's your best defender and Maguire's our best defender. So it makes sense, really.
Okay, so Zoom, you have the next one. Let's go to the left wingers, and I'll include Aubameyang there on that side. So Aubameyang, Rashford, which one would you go for?
That's tough.
Rashford. Yeah, I don't think there's much of a debate. I mean, that's my captain, but
Martinelli's on
I
that
just don't
list.
think Aubameyang's best position, regardless of. Yeah, I know. And I rate Martinelli. Martinelli is a generational talent. I say that with my chest, and I mean it, because also Liverpool boss Jurgen Klopp, who is a professional coach, that's one thing, also said the same thing of Martinelli. But it has to be Rashford, because he just offers goals and more. Simple as. Martinelli, we haven't seen enough of him, so we can't really include him in that discussion. But Aubameyang on the left wing, I mean, people say that's his best position, but I don't agree. His best position is at up top, and the only reason he doesn't score that many goals when he does play for us is because we don't have a player that puts him in behind with that slide rule pass. How many times do we put in Aubameyang through on goal? So it has to be Rashford for that particular position.
Okay, James. How did you guys decide to switch Rashford from a centre forward to left wing? Is he better there?
I think right now he's better as a centre forward. I think he's still young, isn't he? So he'll have time to grow physically. But I think as a Premier League striker, he doesn't have that strength that you'd need to hold players off. I think he's electric down that left wing. He's pretty 2-footed as well, so you can't tell which way he's going to go. So that's really effective for him. He's a brilliant dribbler. So I think left wing just suits him a lot more at the minute.
I remember that goal he scored against Brighton away, where he just literally send those defenders home, 4 or 5 defenders, left, right. So the one more perspective from an Arsenal fan. Graham, do you agree with Rashford over Aubameyang?
No way. No way, man. No. Bamiyang gets goals. Tierney overlapping is just perfect for him because then he comes in as a second striker. I'm not having Rashford over Aubameyang. Never. He's never been better than him, like in the last 2-3 years. So no chance.
Okay, Callum, we have to get one more because Graham disagreed. Which one did you go for?
No, I'll go for Aubameyang, my captain. Do you know what I mean? I'll go for my captain. He just scores goals. He just scores goals. Fair enough this season, but he just scores goals. Last season, he scored 29 goals on the left. Do you know what I mean? 29 goals in all competition on the left. I don't know how many Rashford scored, but I doubt he scored 29, in all competition. So
he scored 25.
25.
For me,
Still
Aubameyang
29.
is world class. Aubameyang is world class for me. So, yeah.
I guess, Andrew, you have to come to you. Which one did you go for?
I'd go for Rashford. I really would, and that's just because of even when he's playing badly this year, he's getting goals and assists. He's been terrible for like a couple of months, and he's still getting goals and assists. You know, and he doesn't, when he doesn't look on it, he still turns up, gets a crucial goal like the game in the FA Cup against Liverpool. You know, wasn't on it at all, turns up, gets a goal. So as soon as he's one-on-one with a defender, I back him any day. I'd back him over Aubameyang one-on-one with a defender.
You guys are very split on that, but if you're to ask me from what I've seen this season, I'm sorry, Graham and Callum, I'll have to go with Rashford. I like what he's doing, like pace-wise and all that. Like his passing, the pass to Greenwood, all that, very, very good. And I agree with Zoom. I think Aubameyang, if we were to put him as a striker, he would be there. So I'd go for Rashford. And then I'll start with you, Andrew, on the next one. I mean, the right side. So Pepe, Saka, Greenwood, James.
Oh,
Which one would you go for?
That's rough. That's rough. That's a really tough decision. I mean, it's, discard James and Pepe for starters. Just get they're not even close at the moment. Saka and Greenwood are the both that you look at in terms of. So Graham mentioned earlier in the show that Greenwood one-on-one with a defender. If he gets a shot off, the likelihood is it's either going to go in or keeper's going to have to pull off a brilliant save. So, I don't know. I guess at the moment Saka in terms of form, but it's tough to choose.
Zoom, just go.
I think that's really harsh. I mean, Mason Greenwood, all guys ever rave on about is his goals, and he's a right winger. We're choosing a right winger. Bukayo Saka has everything. I mean, yeah, he didn't score 16 goals in all competitions last season, but he is such an intelligent player. 1v1, he's dangerous. In his delivery, he's dangerous. In his link-up play, he's dangerous. You know, defensively, he's fantastic. He does everything. I don't know what more he could do to convince other rival fans as well that he's just better than all their talents. No offense. I say that with all due respect to Mason Greenwood, who I do rate so highly, by the way. But I can't choose Mason Greenwood. I just don't see any reason to choose Mason Greenwood, especially this season. When you look at what's been happening this season, we're choosing the combined 11 this season. So based off Bukayo Saka's intelligence and strength and pace, he just has more to offer than Mason Greenwood. Mason Greenwood, if he was on form right now, guys would be asking about, goals. They'd be complimenting his goals and his pace. But Bukayo Saka, he's on form right now, and he just offers so much more. So it has to be Saka for me.
Yeah, I think it has to be that. I think Saka for this season, I'm going to go for him. And then the next one, Callum, I'll start with you. Central attacking midfielder. I mean, this is the easiest of this, right? I mean, it has to be Willian, right? It has to be Willian.
Of course.
Right? Let's call him. Any other option from that? Willian, definitely.
Nah, no way, Willian. Get him out of there. He shouldn't be even in the running for it. To be honest with you. Get him out of there. It's got to be Bruno Fernandes, man. That guy he's breathed the life into Man United, isn't he? Since he's come, he's breathed life. He's their everything right now. He's their star man. He's the one they look to when they need a goal. He's there. He's the leader in their team, and he's probably one of the best midfielders in the world. I think so. You think he's one of the best in the world? So I'd play Bruno.
Graham, would you give them Pepe, Willian, and 20 million, and then take Fernandes?
No, because I don't. Look, Fernandes is a great player, but I don't like him. Man. He is a great player, but I just don't like the way he goes about the game and he's diving and get out of here, you little rat, man. Smith Rowe all day. Smith Rowe for me. Smith Rowe's sort of done all right, not on the scale of what Fernandes done last year, but he's come in and changed our dynamics, the way we're playing, everything. So I don't like Fernandes. As a player, great player, but I just don't like him. So Smith Rowe for me. And I'm a bit biased as well.
What?
I am biased, man. I can't pick Man United players over. I can't pick more Man United players over Arsenal players. I'm sorry, man. I'm an Arsenal fan. It's not happening.
Henry, I mean, this is an
like
easy decision, right?
Yeah, it says it all when Jurgen Klopp's moan about us getting penalties all the time. So Bruno just moves the ball back 10 yards and sticks it in the same corner anyway. So this guy he's just levels above. You know, he's up there with De Bruyne in terms of goals and assists since he's come in, and that says it all. De Bruyne is the best attacking midfielder on the planet, and he's putting in those levels and changed our team, changed the mentality. We're now going from, pining for top four. We really want top four to Bruno saying, hold on a sec, I want to win every single game. So the mentality shift, everything about him has been fantastic. I'd argue, one of the signings of the, I guess, even century. It's been fantastic. Impact-wise, you won't see this for another 20 years, probably, the impact that he's had in the first year.
That was going to be my next question for James. Is he your best signing post-Fergie?
Oh, yeah. There's a tweet that I saw today where it was saying as United fans, before Fernandes signed, it would be very hard to pick a best signing since Fergie because we've not had many good ones at all. Never mind signings of this sort of class. The only real person that you could compare it to is Van Dijk and the impact he had on Liverpool. I think he's completely changed everything about the team and how they play. He's a natural leader in there as well. So I think, he'll go down as one of the best ones, and definitely in terms of United.
Yeah, there's a time you guys signed Di Maria and Falcao. I was super scared at that time. There's another time you signed Sanchez and Lukaku, but all of them never really lived up to expectations. But Fernandes, I think he has. And then start with you, Kalim, on the next one. Centre forward, Lacazette, Nketiah, Cavani, Martial. I mean, from that list, there are a couple of players who've been awful this season.
I'll have to go with Lacazette, I think. I think this season, it's been Lacazette's best season in an Arsenal shirt. Do you know what I mean? I know Martial. Actually, I rate Martial. I think he's a talent, isn't he? But I think Lacazette's been a bit better. Do you know what I mean? He scored. I think he scored about 8 goals in the Prem this season. So far, and his hold up plays unreal. His link up plays unreal. You know what I mean? He's that older head in that around them young kids that in our Arsenal team. So I'll have to be Lacazette.
Can we please, just for the sake of adding Arsenal players into the combined 11? I know that seems biased, but can we please include Aubameyang in that list, because Aubameyang would blow all of these out of the water.
But I'm going to
his finishing. And
I'm just going according to where these players have been playing this season.
No, the thing is, imagine what Bruno would do with Aubameyang in front of him. You know what I mean? But
sorry, so we haven't Nketiah. We haven't Nketiah. That's who you can pick. That's what is there for you.
I don't agree.
I think you're breaking up a bit.
I'm gonna have to go with.
I think it's broken up a bit. James, I'll come to you next. We'll come back to you, James. Which striker would you go for?
I can't look past Cavani. I think his all-round play as a striker is everything you could ever need. You know, he's still got a little bit of pace, despite the fact that he's so old. He's pressing from the front, his physicality to hold the ball up, his movement to get into positions, his aerial ability, his finishing. It's all just incredible. There's a reason why he's one of the best strikers of the last decades. You know, even statistically, he's got so many goals. You know, his record speaks for itself, and he seems to be continuing that. I think it's pretty disgraceful that Martial's taking a lot of his playtime at the minute. You know, I think that will stop soon, hopefully. Yeah. And I think the more the season goes on, we're obviously going to renew his contract at the end of the year, trigger that extension. And I think we're still yet to see the best of Cavani, and he's already been a brilliant signing. So I can't say no to Cavani.
Henry, before you signed Cavani, would you have signed Lacazette for 25 million?
Oh God, that's a really tough question. I guess my only issue with Cavani ever was the age. That's the only issue I had with him. You know, he's a goal scorer. You know, he's got the mentality of a winner. You know, he can't even speak a word of English, and he's bringing players around him into the game and teaching them things on the training pitch that you couldn't believe. So he's got the instinct to teach other strikers like Greenwood and Martial better things. But I think his impact's been fantastic, you know, and personally, I think I underrated the signing when it happened, and I downplayed it. But I can't big this guy up enough. He's 33 and he's running the most out of anyone in our team on a kind of weekly basis, which is ridiculous. So yeah, I can't look past Cavani. He's fantastic.
James, what's happened to Martial this season?
I don't know. He just doesn't look bothered at all. He just does. He seems like a petulant little kid. You know, he walks around the pitch, and if people don't create chances for him, he just seems to give up. You know, he just walks around the pitch. There's no work rate there or desire. I think last year we played to his strengths in that. You know, we were creating chances for him. He showed off his finishing ability, but his confidence isn't there. And I think that his work rate is so poor that he needs to be playing well consistently to get any recognition, and he's not at the minute. So hopefully we see something better from him, but you know it's not looking likely.
Awesome. So we managed to get they demanded the guest stays, but I'd go for Leno, and then we agreed on Tierney, we agreed on Wan-Bissaka, we agreed on Gabriel and Maguire. That was easy. We definitely agreed on Pogba and Partey, Saka on the right, and then Bruno Fernandes definitely as the number 10. On the left, we'd go for Rashford, sorry, Graham, and Callum, and then up front, it's still very difficult, but I'd just go for Lacazette. I'm really trying not to be biased, James and Henry. That's why I've put the other players there, the likes of Rashford, but so I'll go for Lacazette up front, but I get what you're saying, Zoom. So last questions from the chat. I'll start with you, James. Someone was asking, do you think you'll win the league this season?
I mean, 3 days ago, I was, sort of confident, but given the way the league's going, but we're not out of the race. It's such a weird season, but I don't expect us to win the league. I don't expect us to finish second. I think Liverpool will pick it back up again. So, at this stage, top four is still a target, really.
Henry?
No, I don't expect us to win the league. I think a lot of United fans got carried away with what was happening at the time. We were grinding out results, which was an important thing for us because we haven't seen it for a couple of years. But yeah, I was never confident we're going to win the league. City are just, you saw what they did to you in the Carabao Cup. They absolutely ripped you apart. So, and they can do that to anyone on their day. They're 4-0 up at half time against West Brom. So they're just phenomenal. Everything they do, just even without De Bruyne, when they've got him back, they're going to just destroy teams. So I think you can't look past them to win the league this year.
Thanks for kindly reminding me about that hammering. I'd forgotten about Tranason. Totally is the main reason why we literally lost that game that easily. Callum, someone had asked about Aubameyang. Would you start him?
Well, if he's there, 100% I would, because he's very important in our team. Do you know what I mean? He can get them goals out of nothing sometimes, and I would 100%. He's a world class player, world class. So yeah.
Graham, Bring him straight in, or you have him on the bench?
Well, we've only got two world-class players in our team, and that's Partey and Aubameyang. So he has to start, man. Has to. Even though I think that's a bit unfair on Pepe because he had a great game, but yeah, but Aubameyang, you can't leave him out, man. No chance.
Yeah, if Aubameyang's deemed fit and more importantly psychologically ready to go, then Aubameyang has to start. Not only is he obviously the best goal scorer on that pitch from both sides, he's also our captain. And I know he doesn't lead in the same way that Tony Adams or Vincent Kompany or Rio Ferdinand and them lot lead, but he's still one of our leaders. And you just play with a bit more confidence, actually with quite a bit more confidence, when you know you're playing with someone who can bang goals no matter what, no matter when. So yeah, he has to start if he's ready.
Okay, next one, just one word answer, no explanation. Henry, which player scares you most at Arsenal?
Oh, good question. God. Saka.
James?
Partey.
Graham, which player scares you most at United?
Rashford.
So who?
Rashford.
Callum?
I think Bruno.
Which player would you take from United if you had the chance today, Zuhu?
Bruno.
Graham, you don't like Bruno, so which one would you have?
Paul Pogba. Him and Partey in that midfield. Blood fight.
Callum?
It's got to be Bruno, man. It's got to be Bruno.
James, Arsenal player?
I've got to go Partey again. He's everything we need.
Okay, Henry?
Yeah, you know what? I think that's right. Him and Pogba and Bruno in front would be impossible to stop.
Okay, so we already have predictions in the chat. So I'll start with you, Henry. What is your prediction for the game?
Oh God, this is always a rough one. I don't know. I actually think it's going to be a draw. I can just see it being hyped up to be a massive game. I can see it coming out as a 1-1 or something. So yeah, I'll go with that.
Goal scorers?
Bruno, I can see Bruno scoring just because he always wants to prove the doubters wrong in big games. And I think Saka will score.
Saka will score. Okay, and James, prediction?
I'm not expecting many goals, so I'll go with a 1-0 United. But I won't be surprised if we saw a 0-0. I think Maguire to score a header.
Wow, okay. Graham?
3-1 Arsenal. I think Lacazette might get a couple and Saka. And Fernandes will probably get a penalty or something.
Okay, Sweetie says my prediction 2-1 Arsenal. I have a good feeling we're going to smash them. Callum, do you agree?
Yeah, I do. I think that we'll win 3-2. I think United will score 2 in the first half. We'll get 1 in the first half as well at the end, and then the second half we'll score the rest of the goals. I honestly think that will happen.
I agree. That's 3-2. That's my prediction as well. Who will score?
I think Lacazette will score 2 for Arsenal, and Saka will score 1. I think Bruno will score 100%, and maybe Pogba wonder strike or Rashford.
Pogba wonder strike. I'm not. That wouldn't be good, would it? So I know Shaka scored a couple of wonder goals against United. I think Henry and James will remember it. So just to scare you two a bit, you've traveled to the Emirates Stadium 14 times. We've won 7 of those games. You've won 4 of those games. There have been 3 draws. We've scored 21 goals, and you guys have scored 15. The last 5 times you've come to the Emirates Stadium, we've scored 10, and you've scored 3. I really hope for the same. I hope for 3 more, and you guys maybe none. So thank you guys for coming on. Henry, where can they follow you?
Sorry, what did you say?
Where can they follow you? Yeah, I know that really scared you to the point you didn't hear the question. I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Well, me and James have got this podcast, so on my Twitter and make sure to look at the podcast.
Awesome. And James?
Yeah, just on Twitter. I think my handle's going across the bottom, so check that out if you fancy.
Awesome. Zoom, can we get your prediction?
2-0 Arsenal. Mikel Arteta knows how to beat OGS, so he'll do it again.
For a second, I thought you were going to say Mikel Arteta will score the goal. I was like, okay, who will score the goal for you?
I think it's going to be Lacazette and one of the young guns, Bukayo Saka, Emil Smith-Rowe, or Martinelli. One of those. Yeah.
Okay, Callum, where can they follow you, and Graham?
The Halves and G show on YouTube. We're starting a podcast next week, a new podcast. So come if you like, football talk, Arsenal talk, So
Zoom?
You can follow me, Zahum Omar, the way it's written down there, on Twitter and on IG. And if you want to follow my podcast with a couple of friends of mine, has a United fan as well, so it's a bit of a different dynamic. It's called the Nearly Footballers podcast, where a bunch of nearly footballers discuss football themselves. So yeah.
Thank you, man. Graham, any social media?
Just same as Callum, just Halves and G on Instagram. Yeah, just come and just watch it and like it, subscribe. You know what I mean? If you got like extra 45 minutes out of your time, just come and watch it, man. It's a bit funny. You know what I mean?
I appreciate you guys, man. That was fun. Henry, thank you for coming on. James, thank you for coming on. Graham, thank you for coming on. Zoom, Colin, thank you for coming on as usual. Everyone in the chat, I really hope we win this game. I'm going to go for a 3-2 prediction. And my goal scorers, Lacazette, Aubameyang, and Odegaard, just to rub it in on James and Henry. Thank you for watching. Keep staying safe. And I'll catch up with you guys later.
Zero.